What's up, guys? Cole Schweider here with my buddy Joseph Arrington for episode 2 of QC Conversations. Hope you got a chance to tune in last week. Would love your guys' feedback. Just some quick background on the podcast. Really, we're just here to have good conversations with awesome local people. So appreciate you tuning in with us today. We're going to cover just an array of topics, right? I think it's fitting since we're near Thanksgiving to talk a little bit about holiday traditions, what there's to do in the Charlotte area, and maybe talk a little bit about the real estate market, kind of what we're dealing with right now in the area. Yeah. And what else you want to cover today, man?
That's a great question. We wrote the script and was looking through it, and I was like, man, it's a great time just to, I think, hit home, because I think what a lot of people do is like, hey, I'm in Charlotte. What's there to do, around the holiday season? And then you have things like Axos, formerly Charlotte Agenda, that does, I think, a great job about highlighting local stuff for people to do. And really just, I've had like a couple of questions recently from like newer agents, and they've wanted some insight. So I really want to bring that up today and kind of chat through. But I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I think we had a great first podcast. I think personally, I felt like we achieved what we wanted to, and I think it's only up from here. We're going to get better and better. I know if you watch the video quality, guys, I'm sorry, it sucks. That's my bad. I'm using a Logitech webcam that I've had for like 2-3 years, something like that. And it does great at home. And then when you need it to perform on game day, it just doesn't perform.
Not like the Carolina Panthers?
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't even watch them. That's how bad they're doing.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I guess let's just kick in, man. Like, holidays around Charlotte, I know you're not native to Charlotte. I'm mostly native to Charlotte. What have you and Caitlin done as far as like holiday festive things to do around Charlotte?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, got to give kudos to Axios, because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I'd have no idea what to do. Charlotte's one of those cities, man. It can get almost a little overwhelming because there's so much things to do. So I'm trying to think the first time we were here for Christmas. I want to say our first time doing Christmas festives here, or holiday festives for that matter. We went down to Whitewater Center. Mm-hmm. So I just remember, I think we went ice skating. They have like a little where you can walk through the trail in the woods, and got some really cool lights. So that one was pretty memorable.
I'll be honest. So we were sold on that, and I think it was like the first year they did the lights, and I was like, that's awesome. Let's go. And we did it, and it was so quick, and I was kind of let down personally.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, this is going to be so sick. You're walking through, you're like, oh man, this is really cool. And then it was like, wish it was longer.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
But
what did you guys do? What was your first time, if you remember? Well, shoot, you've been here a while.
McAdenville.
Okay.
So, if you're around the area, even if you're not from around the area, like I think there's even a Facebook group about people that come to McAdenville every single year. Like there's people from New York, Chicago, Texas that just come to visit McAdenville.
That's pretty wild. What do they call it? Christmas Town, USA?
Christmas Town, USA. Okay. Yeah, it's Christmas Town, USA. So that was like the first memorable holiday event. And for that, we used to park the car and walk through McAdenville versus just driving through. And I think back then there was a lady actually in the town of McAdenville that would pay all the people's light bills for December.
Oh, what?
So that's how it kind of got started, and to my knowledge, how it got started, at least as far as them doing the lights. So she covered the lighting bill, and then they pretty much decorated the town. And then I think she passed away. It got pushed to family members, and I don't know if they're still covering it. I don't think they are, from what I've heard, but that was the first thing. And we don't do it as much anymore, just because traffic is so crazy.
My goodness, we did it for the first time last year.
Oh, really?
And man, yeah, we sat in traffic forever. I mean, it was worth it though. Especially if you've never seen it before, check it out at least once.
Yeah. Did you walk or did you drive through?
No, we drove through it. We're amateurs. Come on, man.
Brother, you got to walk.
I see that now. If I had to do it again, I would walk.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the Macy's Day Parade. You can't just drive through. You got to like get out, experience it. Like I think there's a couple stands selling like coffee, hot chocolate that you can like get, walk around. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, we did get out of the car, like I think in McCadville, like the little downtown area, like hopped out and grabbed some coffee and stuff. That was pretty neat to do. That's a cool one, man. Have you ever done one that I've wanted to do is the Light in the Nights? Have you done that?
Where's that at?
At the Knights Stadium. They do. They got like a skating rink out there, and
didn't they just start that like 2 or 3 years ago?
Could be new.
Yeah. Because we haven't done that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I drove by there the other day, and they had a skating rink and all that. I don't know. I know for a fact they do it for the public, but I think they're also playing a checkers game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I tried to get tickets to that.
Oh, goodness, sold out?
So they were sold out, and then the only tickets left were like where outfield is, you know?
Gotcha.
And where they're setting up the ice ring, it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to watch it, but if I can get some tickets to that, I really want to go to that.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to go to a Winter Classic game, so I'm a big NHL guy.
Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, Pittsburgh Penguins. Go Penguins. We've had a rough couple of years, but we have enough titles under our belt.
Yeah, he's got one of the best players to ever play there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Sidney Crosby. He's, I don't know, everyone says, you know, like the Wayne Gretzky or the, Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
They always say like, oh, they're like the top, but no. Crosby's the
Crosby, okay.
Yeah.
That could be up for debate. No, I'm just kidding. I won't fight you on that one. I don't know enough about hockey. I growing up in Raleigh, I was a huge Hurricanes fan, but almost a little bandwagon. I just remember all the times the Stanley Cup runs.
Yep.
Yeah, I was it.
And then they won with the Stahl brothers the first time.
They won with the Stahl brothers, man. And it was funny because like Washington was always like the arch nemesis. So I remember watching like Ovechkin play all the time and stuff. That guy, he's impressive, but both of them great players.
Yeah, Canes have kind of let me down lately. I'll root for them when they're not playing Pens, you know, but like I've even gone to a couple games. Typically, though, I will only go if Pittsburgh's playing in Raleigh at PNC. Sense. And then it's like I'm like one of 20 people that's wearing a Pens jersey. Yeah. And I'm just like, I hope we win.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's neat. Have you so one thing we did, and it was probably 2 years ago now. It's kind of cool. One of our friends put on. So I don't know, you know, for those people who like to go out and have a good time. We did a little like Santa bar crawl. It wasn't like one of the ones that are sponsored or whatever, but it was Santa bar crawl. And then you have to go see, like, as a part of the bar crawl, you have to stop by a few of the popular Christmas trees in town. Mm-hmm. So I think there was like one inside like Bank of America Center, and like you got the one outside the Panther Stadium. So you make it a little bit of fun. Everybody dresses up. You stop at X bars, like have X drinks, and have to see all the Christmas trees.
So it's like a Rich and Benny. Well, no, you said it's not sponsored.
Yeah, we didn't do it sponsored, but I think they do have some cool sponsored ones too, like true like Santa bar crawls. But I thought that was kind of fun, man. I mean, it's just
that would be cool.
Hang out with good people. You know, you get a little bit of the Christmas.
I think I would dress up as the Grinch.
As the Grinch?
Absolutely.
We did.
Best Christmas movie.
Oh.
I'm going to throw it out
That's a good one. Yeah. Honestly, I can't think of too many better ones to say.
I don't think there is.
You talking like the cartoon version or the
no,
Grinch?
No. Okay. The newest cartoon version, did you see that one?
Yeah.
That they released a couple of years ago, like with not like the baby Grinch, but whatever it was. That one was okay. I didn't really like how they changed the story a little bit. You know, it wasn't very traditional, but again, it's creative and something different, not the same old repeat, you know. But no, Jim Carrey, Grinch, it's hard to beat that.
That's a good one. Now, the OG one, though, totally different vibe, but the Christmas Vacation. Oh, my God. That's such a
Christmas
classic,
Vacation's fantastic.
That's a good movie. They did a good job with that one.
Golly. Yeah. So, dude, most underrated holiday, Christmas activity is going to the Speedway and doing the
I
Christmas
forgot about
lights.
that one. Yes, I've been one time too.
We went for the first time last year because typically I've always heard you have to wait really long and, you know, it's not really worth it, whatever. I'm here to tell you it's worth it. And the trick is they have a couple different options. So they have like the standard like pay and drive through, which is like, you know, 20, 30, 40 bucks, something like that. And they have like a skip the line ordeal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we did that and it was like, I don't know, $90, $100, $120. I don't even remember. It was.
But you could pack your car full. I mean, you put like 5 or 6 people in a car, right?
Absolutely.
Take the kids and stuff.
we had my truck, and I think we had we had like 5 or 6 people in the truck.
Everybody splits that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we got there about 45 minutes before they open. And so you go to like the right side of the speedway.
Yeah, if you like go around back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so you wait over there, probably like 30 minutes before they open. They'll start like scanning tickets, stuff like that. And then you wait in another line, and then like you go right in. So we waited, like we got into the speedway around, I want to say like 15 minutes after it opened.
Oh, wow. So you were on time.
Yeah. So like that would be my one like tip for everyone is like if you're gonna go, pay the extra money for the premiere ordeal or whatever they call it, and get there about 30 to 45 minutes early. So what we did, we just grabbed like Bojangles or something. No, tenders. We grabbed tenders, Concord, just went and got in line, and as we're sitting, we're eating dinner.
Exactly. Because you do have to like stop from time to time, so you can kind of multitask a little bit.
Well, so we ate before we got in.
Oh,
so we didn't even have to worry about moving. It was like,
while you were sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And then, so you drive through, it's awesome. And then they have like a little Christmas town. It's okay. I think it could use like improvement, but it's not bad for what it is. And they show like movies on the back, so you can like park the car like a drive-in, tune your radio to the station. We didn't do that, but we had a blast.
What I thought was so cool, dude, is like you get to drive on the track a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought it was neat. And then honestly, when you go through the grandstands, like the backside where the concessions are, you like drive through there. And it's like a tunnel of Christmas lights. But dude, I'm glad you mentioned that one. I don't know why I would have forgot about it because it was an awesome experience. But
it's crazy.
That might be at the top of my list now that you mention it. From things I've done personally.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, McAdenville, right? I think is the one of those you got to see. But this is definitely a very unique experience.
We'll be in London in 2.5 weeks for a 5-year wedding anniversary.
Heck yeah.
And so over in Europe, they do like the Christmas markets. Okay, so we did, when we got married and we were in Barcelona, they had a Christmas market that we visited and it was awesome. So in London, I've heard they have like this huge Christmas market. Imagine. So we're looking forward to that. I'm excited because we have a couple Christmas markets here, but it's nothing crazy. Have you ever been to the Southern Christmas show or whatever it is?
No, I've not. Is that the one over there by Bojangles?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been seeing the signs for it on the way home. Yeah.
I figured Caitlin dragged you
there. Oh, well, we still got time. It could happen.
Caitlin, you can do it.
Oh, man. So you said that for your holiday plans then. So you guys are going to London.
Yeah. So it was spur of the moment. So if you know me, like I'm a big foodie. And so it's
you going to Michelin 5-star?
No. We cap out at 3-star, but we are going to the 3-star.
Okay, good.
But so how we got here, because initially we were going to Napa and we were going to go to the French Laundry, which if you're familiar, Thomas Keller, one of the greatest chefs ever that has lived. Does a lot of amazing things, has had like 3 Michelin stars for over 20 years at the French Laundry, former #1 restaurant in the world. And I was trying to get reservations. And so they released their reservations like the first day of the month before the next month. So like for December, reservations open at November 1st at 10 PST. So like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I actually tried it in October because I didn't know if they released 1 or 2 months because I didn't do enough research on it. And so I waited and they only had November. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be ready for next month. Like I've already seen it. We're good. So, man, I was ready. I mean, I was on an hour early just waiting because I got my times mixed up and I was like refreshing. I'm like, why isn't it coming on? I'm like, oh, yeah, 10 PST. That's 1 hour time. All right. And so as soon as reservations open, so I refreshed. Click the reservation like for the first time, sold out.
Oh my!
Click the next one, sold out.
What?
Click the third one, sold out. Then the whole month of December was sold out in the matter of 25 seconds.
That is insane. So it's like nationally. I mean, obviously renowned. Like
if it's a former #1 restaurant in the world.
Holy smokes!
So I was kind of bummed because I don't think we're gonna go to Napa a bunch of times. We've never been.
Yeah.
And so the thing was we were going to do some wineries, go to the French Laundry, enjoy our 5-year, and just like relax. And so I was like, well, if we can't get into the French Laundry, like I'll just wait and plan this trip later.
Yeah.
Because I want to go to the French
Yeah.
Laundry. Like, I will go there at some point. I just got to finagle. And so I was looking, I was like, well, I still want to travel for an anniversary. And I was like, where can we go that has like a good restaurant? So Chicago came up, but the 2-3 Michelin star restaurants in Chicago already had their reservation sold out for that weekend.
Yeah.
And so I'm like looking, and I'm like, man, I really want to go to the 3 Michelin star restaurant. And so I was just looking around, and we're also only going for like 4 or 5 days. 4 days. So I was like, it can't be too far to where, we got 48 hours of travel time. We get off, eat, and then I'm back on the plane.
You literally fly there to go get some food and come back.
So I was like, all right, I think we can do like the western side of Europe somewhere. I didn't want to go back to Spain. Spain was fantastic. Okay. I love Spain. Yeah. I was like, well, Paris is an option. London's an option. I would have loved to have done Italy again, but it's just a little too long on travel time for what I was looking at.
Could you train? No, well,
you could.
But a long train. You might as well hop on a plane and get over there real quick.
Yeah, just hop on Ryanair if you ever flown on there. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I think I did actually when we were in the Netherlands.
So bad. That is the worst flying experience of my life.
Oh my goodness,
was Ryanair.
That's funny, man.
Like the whole plane was clapping when we landed. They were selling perfume on the plane, lottery tickets. I mean, it was like old school like plane catalogs. Like how you used to fly in the early 2000s, and you had like the Sky Mall magazine. Yeah. But it's like them, but walking around with the work
So instead of trying to get you signed up for a credit card, they got you.
I think they still had a credit card option too, but yeah.
They had a credit card. That's hilarious. Are they like a European airline?
They are.
Okay, gotcha.
So I would say Allegiant's second close to Ryanair. But
I don't think I've ever flown Allegiant. That's funny. Yeah, okay. Well,
I'll pay the extra fly like American or United.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I guess shout out to American because we took United the other day. Nothing wrong with United, but it was just different. Really different. I prefer American over United.
So I do too. My buddy Tanner.
Yeah. Is Tanner United pilot?
So he actually just swapped to United.
Oh, okay.
From American.
Yeah.
Because it was substantially better.
Well, I was about to say, I'm sure maybe from an employee standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, better fit
and
for him.
So United actually, so during COVID, the CEO pretty much like just banked on airlines, like shooting back up, and pretty much like secured a bunch of planes. So like, I think they're one of the only airline companies that are getting steadily new planes. I think they're getting like 2 to 3 a month. Brand new planes.
Wow.
Or American, they're like, I want to say he said like 36 months out on getting new planes. So I think United is going to skyrocket past everybody in probably 5 years' time. And so I would say, like, financial advice, probably put some money in United right now. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm not a financial advisor.
You can't say that. Hey, I got to give them credit, though, even though I mentioned.
So what was wrong with it?
Just maybe the plane we were on was just kind of like, it was an older plane,
dingy.
Like I'm talking like direct TV in the back of the headrest, like throwback TVs. And it very well could have just been, the plane that we were on. I'm sure they have some beautiful planes. But one thing I do got to give them credit for is the app. I thought the app was very good.
Do you have the American app?
I have the American and the United. I think both are good. United might have been just slightly a little bit more like tech friendly. I thought better layout and stuff like that.
So American pissed me off during planning this trip. Oh, so going back to it. So we were looking at places, and it really came down to like London and Paris.
Gotcha.
If I go to Paris, I want to go to Bordeaux. I want to go to Champagne. I want to do all of that. So I was like, I'll say Paris. And two, Paris is very protest friendly.
Okay.
And so with everything going on over, in the Middle East and all that, there's a lot of protests going on in Paris. And so I was like, maybe Paris isn't the safest right now too. So I was like, all right, we'll do London.
Yeah.
Which I think there's still protests going on there, but.
You going to be there over the weekend?
Yeah.
Dude, you going to see a soccer game?
We probably won't have time.
I was going to say, you doing the Michelin star on a Saturday?
No, we're doing that on Thursday.
Ooh, dude, you might have to slip in there.
So I booked London, and this guy followed forever. Hence, Heston Blumenthal.
Okay.
He pretty much pioneered modernist cuisine. So, if you're looking at like a sphere of liquid, he was really pushing and pioneering in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so he's had former number one restaurant in the world. And just out of curiosity, I looked at his restaurant, and sure enough, he had open spots.
Wow.
And so I booked that, and that's pretty much how we booked London.
I love how you kind of like base the trip off going to the restaurant. I love it, man. You're a definition of a foodie, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, have you ever been to a Michelin star restaurant?
I have not, dude. It's on my bucket list, but I have not.
So they say like 1 star is like good if you're in the area, like definitely go to it. 2 star, definitely worth eating at if you can. 3 stars, like worth the travel to go eat at.
I bet the food is ridiculous. Question for you though: what is the 5 star? Am I making that up?
I think you're making that up.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was like a 5 star. Okay.
I think like hotels.
Oh, okay.
We'll do like the whole 5 star thing, and maybe like restaurants will say like, "Oh, we're 5 star."
Gotcha.
But it doesn't mean.
I don't know why
anything.
I thought I heard that 5 star was the best, but maybe you're right because the last time I heard it, I think it was a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's something to do with hotels. That one's on my bucket list. So I was looking. There's none in Charlotte, right?
There's the closest Michelin star restaurant to us is going to be in Washington, D.C.
Ooh, not Atlanta? Why do I feel like there was one in Atlanta? Washington?
There might be a 1 star in Atlanta, but I'm talking like 3 star.
Gotcha.
So I think we only have like less than 10 3 stars in the U.S. And
most of them in Europe? Or
honestly, a lot are in Asia. I think Asia has the most.
Gotcha.
Just because of Japan.
Yeah.
How that whole scaling works is like you have to like knock out the food that you're presenting.
Gotcha.
And you have to execute perfectly. And it's not just one time.
Yeah, like over and over again.
Over and
Repetition,
over again. Yeah. So there's 1 in Washington, D.C. There's 2 or 3 in New York. There's 2 in Chicago. There's 3 in the San Francisco area. 3 or 4. I think that's it for 3 stars.
That's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
I got to put that on the bucket list. Yeah.
It's worth it.
That's one to do. Anything in Vegas? Vegas got that one, no? Vegas doesn't even have one?
I think Vegas has some 1 stars maybe, but they don't have any 3 stars.
Yeah. Interesting.
I would say like the U.S. is like very new to the whole like Michelin guide-esque because there is a lot in Europe, Asia.
Makes sense.
I want to say like Michelin is actually, I want to say their headquarters is somewhere in Europe, I think.
Now, silly question. I feel like I've heard this. Michelin is based off like Michelin tires, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Michelin guide started when they were traveling around.
Okay.
And so they created a guide to where it's like, hey, this is where you should stop at and eat. So it was the original, like TripAdvisor.
Yes. I do remember I heard that the other day for the first time, and I never put 2 and 2 together. Because you think of tires and you think of like restaurants and hotels. I was like, what? But no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So book that. So we get in. We leave Charlotte Wednesday night, red eye. Get there Thursday morning. Then we go drop our luggage off at the Soho House. Then we will go to Westminster and see Churchill War Rooms. I'm a big Winston Churchill guy.
Oh, yeah.
I love Churchill. Then that night we do Fat Duck, which is a Michelin restaurant. Go back to the hotel, sleep. Next day, we have an all-day tour at the Warner Brothers Studios for the Harry Potter
Oh,
set.
I did not know that. Okay.
So they shot like a lot of Harry Potter over there. So we have like a 6-hour tour or something like that day. And then that night we eat at one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants.
Okay.
So we can get some beef Wellington, his joint.
Oh, I bet that's going to be delicious.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
What was it? That's Friday. Saturday, we have and I was torn on this. I really was. But we're doing almost like 11 or 12-hour tour to Stonehenge and the Roman baths.
Oh, I've been to Stonehenge. You guys let me know what you think.
I think I'm going to look at it and be like, this is just some rocks. Why did I waste my day coming out here to see this?
It's one of those things you gotta say you've seen it, but I do agree with you. You're in the middle of like countryside England, but it's pretty cool though. I mean,
So I didn't know this, or maybe I dreamt it. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I tried doing some research on it. Was Stonehenge not an original 7 Great Wonders of the world?
oh my goodness, dude! I feel like it was. Did you do research and it wasn't?
Yes, because I was like, oh, maybe I should set a new goal just to see the 7 wonders of the world, and they've changed. There's New Age 7 wonders of the world.
I swear it was on there, or maybe it was like the 8th, like or I don't know. So hold on, what are the 7? Let's see how good we are. The pyramids got to be 1.
Great Wall of China.
Great Wall of China. Pyramids are 1 there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pyramids of Giza.
Yeah.
Great Wall of China.
Great Wall of China.
Roman Colosseum.
Roman Colosseum.
Machu
Niagara Falls.
Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Niagara Falls.
That's not even one of them. Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu's 1. A place in Mexico, a temple,
the temple,
like a Mayan temple.
We'll call it that. 5. We're missing. That's all right. We don't have to think too hard, but
I just looked them up too.
yeah,
This is the bad
that's
part.
funny, man. I swear Stonehenge was at one time. Maybe they changed it.
I guess so.
Changed the ballpark, yeah.
So that's Saturday, and then we fly back like 2 p.m. London time and get back at like 6 p.m. North Carolina
Man,
time.
y'all are packing it in. But I mean, it'll be so worth it.
So I asked Sky, I was like, do you want hot and relaxing or cool and adventurous? And she was like, cool and adventurous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's do it.
What's funny, man, my wife and I, every time we go on vacation, we're like, oh, yeah, it'd be so great to relax. Man, we get there, we just get going, man. We don't do well sitting still. I'd rather explore.
So going back to why American pissed me off. So I've been racking up miles since pre-COVID because I was going to use them for my Japan trip to do full business class, not have to pay a dime because tickets are like fucking $12,000 business. And so they've actually shot up in value, or they've decreased in value. So now to fly a round trip to Japan is like 800,000 miles when it used to be 250,000.
Oh, that's huge difference.
Ridiculous
That's
difference.
a huge difference.
So because of that, I have like 350,000 miles. So I was ready to go before, and then COVID happened, and they jacked up all the flipping mileage redeemability. And so I was like, all right. And I was looking at booking this trip with miles, and I could book standard and premium economy for both of us round trip, but I couldn't do business because it was like 250 each.
Gotcha.
250,000. And so I was like, all right, I think I can upgrade with miles. And I did a little bit of research. I can upgrade miles. I'm like, cool. So I paid for the regular tickets, like $1,500, whatever they were. And you can upgrade. It's like 25,000 miles each way per person.
Gotcha.
So like for the total trip, if we got upgraded, it's 100,000 miles.
Got it.
Like I think $600 more.
Got it.
So I called because you have to call them. You can't do it on the app. And I'm like, hey, can I upgrade my seats, with mileage, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, let me see if it's available. And I'm like, well, there's 20 open seats both ways in business. So I don't know why it wouldn't be open, He's like, well, our computer generates how and when we can upgrade with mileage. It's not like an instant thing that you can just go on and be like, upgrade with miles. Yeah. So he put me on a list, and I'm like, well, when will I know? Like, is it guaranteed? Blah, blah, blah. And obviously it's not guaranteed. And he was like, people, it depends on what the computer says. So it could be tomorrow, which I did this, a couple weeks ago. So about a month out. It's like, it could be 2 weeks before, 1 week before, day of. You don't know. So
they're almost like, sounds to me like prioritizing it for like true cash, like people that are actually paying. Well, you're paying for it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like you've earned the points, but yeah, isn't that funny how that works?
Dude, I was so mad. I'm still mad.
Yeah,
because it still has like upgrade, like requested, and I'm just like, I've watched the seats go. There's 8 business class seats left going there, and like 9 coming back. And so I'm just watching them fiddle down, and I'm like, this is going to be a terrible trip. Because I'm going to have to sit in that terrible seat on a red eye.
Yeah, that is true.
Have you ever flown business?
Yeah. Actually, I've been very spoiled. All the times I've been to Europe. I know. I hate to say it. Yeah.
I've only done it once, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. So if mom ever listens to this, she spoiled me. The few times that her and I went to Europe, she always got business class, man. And it was, so the time when we go back to, when Caitlin and I go back to Europe, it's going to be tough because we ain't buying business class.
And that's the thing too. If it was just me, I think a business class seat round trip was like $4,500 or like $5,000.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of money for, if you put in hours, I think it's 9 hours there, 9 hours back. So like 18 hours, you're spending $5,000.
Yeah.
But it's kind of worth it.
Yeah. It's very much like it makes the experience so much better.
Yeah. So, that was a long-winded way to tell you about the trip. And,
dude, that's exciting.
On the next episode, I'm sure I'll tell you how great it was or how miserable
I can't wait to hear about Stonehenge and all that. But that'll be good, man. I wish you could sneak in a soccer game. That one's on my bucket list.
It's funny. There. Everyone was like, "Oh, you're going to see a game?" And I'm like, if I can fit it in, because I don't think we get back from Stonehenge until like 9 p.m. on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to be able to then.
So
that'll be all. Yeah. And then you take off Sunday. Sorry. Did you say Sunday?
Sunday around 2 p.m.
Okay.
Their time. So we'll have to leave for the airport probably around 11 because it takes about an hour from central London to get to Heathrow.
You won't have time to sneak all that in. But, dude, at least y'all going to be action-packed. It can be quite worth it.
Leaving the baby at home with mama or grandma.
There you go. I'm sure grandma's going to love every second of that.
Oh, yeah, she is. My wife's probably going to cry.
But
so going back to the holiday stuff, man, like what are some traditions that you and Caitlin have kind of set in? Or if you guys haven't said any, like what are some traditions you did as a family growing up?
So, our family, man, we didn't do a ton. Our family never really we did little things here and there, but nothing that was ever like, we're going to do the same thing every year. I guess we used to go to Pennsylvania. I guess the one tradition growing up is we used to go to Pennsylvania. We had a bunch of family up there in the mountainside of Pennsylvania, and we would go up there every Christmas. But we kind of quit doing that. So now I think what like Caitlin and I are trying to do more of is like this weekend we'll be with her parents and we'll go up to, I'm blanking on the town, kind of right on the Virginia, North Carolina border, going up from Winston-Salem. We'll go up there to get a Christmas tree. And so we'll go get Christmas trees, come back, but we really don't have one in there. Oh man, I'm gonna blank on the. Is it Silva? No.
Is it above Mount Airy? Or?
Yeah, above Mount Airy. You take the whatever the highway is. You pretty much go past Mount Airy up towards. No, not 77.
40.
Man, it runs right through Mount Airy, like you go right by Pilot Mountain.
Okay.
And you just keep hauling up towards Virginia. It's really not far from Winston-Salem, like 40 minutes, because you're pretty close to the North Carolina.
So it's kind of near Winter Place?
No. You're quite
Am
up there.
Am I going the wrong way? Oh.
No, Winter Place I feel like is like deeper Virginia, no?
No, dude.
Right on the border?
Winter Place is like 2 hours from Charlotte.
I don't think I ever realized that.
You cross Virginia and Winter Place is right there on your right.
I don't think I ever realized that.
Maybe like 5-10 minutes past the border, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to say Silva rings a bell. Mm-hmm. Silva, North Carolina, but maybe I'm lying.
Do you guys cut your own tree down? Do you have them cut it down?
They do. But it's really cool. You go to this huge Christmas tree farm in the mountains, so it's not like your mainstream one around here, and you put your little flag down, they come over, hit the chainsaw, drag it out for you. But we do that. But I think as we kind of grow a family, eventually, like Caitlin's definitely more like of a tradition person than I am. So, but I'm cool to adopt. Whatever. So
for Thanksgivings, did you guys go, like growing up, did you go to family? And,
we would do family.
Huge Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, yeah, I would say huge. We don't have too ginormous of a family, but we're going back to Fuquay, and mom will host at her house. We'll probably have 12 of us.
Okay.
So, decent size, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. What about New Year? Do you have any like New Year's Eve traditions?
Dude, New Year's Eve, we just do something new every year. We're going to the beach this year with some of Caitlin and I's friends, but Caitlin's sorority sister she went to college with. So they bring all the husbands, and we're going down to like Wrightsville or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We switch it up every New Year's. We'll try to do something different.
Have you ever want to go to like New York or something like that for New Year's?
I don't know, man. I can honestly say I really haven't had like an urge to go. New York's so cool, but it's just not for me personally. Yeah. I think because growing up in the South, you get accustomed to the way of life. You go up there, man, and it's like, holy smokes, dude. Yeah. I just got back from New Jersey, man. First and foremost, I love my friends from New Jersey. Heck, my parents are from New Jersey, but dude, being born and raised in the South, going up there and driving, and just everything's different, man. Like you're getting honked at, like you're going 80 in the fast lane, getting honked at, and it's just different, man. And
what's the speed limit? 70?
Probably 70.
You're not
so I
going
wasn't
fast
speeding.
enough?
I was no. I was only going 71, right? I wasn't speeding. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was cool, man. But it's just like even the mannerisms and like people. Like it was funny. I told my wife, I was like, if I lived up here long enough and had to deal with the surrounding, I'd probably be a little different too.
Yeah.
So just a faster pace of life.
It's funny. Then they all moved down here.
Moved down here. So, I welcome anybody who wants to move down here. I know a good real estate agent and a good mortgage lender.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I have my fair share of New Yorkers. I love them. They're great. I really do. Because they're blunt and they're straight to the point.
Yeah, which I do appreciate that.
And it's
aspect.
not like they're concerned about like hurting my feelings or like worried about anything. Like they care about them, and I appreciate that.
Yep.
You know, where you have someone down here, they're more worried about how something's going to come off to someone else, and so they're tiptoeing around, which tells they're scared to say something. And like case in points, like you're looking at inspection reports, and something's like bothering you, but you're too scared to say it. And then fast forward 2 weeks, you're backing out of the contract because you didn't bring it up when you should have. Yeah. And a New Yorker's going to be like, oh, yeah, we need to get that fixed. And you're like, oh, that's not how it works, but we'll try. And then either way, they're like, oh, yeah, that's good. Thanks for trying. I love my New Yorkers.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
No, you got to appreciate that.
Yeah. So
what about you, dude? What do you guys usually do?
We do the Christmas tree. So, we do Thanksgiving as a family. Growing up, we actually used to do Thanksgiving big on my mom's side. So when I lived in Florida, we would always go up to Alabama where one of my aunts was. And so we would have a huge Thanksgiving. I'm talking like 20 plus people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I don't know if you guys had this, but we had like a kids table, and then we had the adult table. Yeah. And so, yeah, we used to do that when I was younger. And then more recently with Sky and myself, it's for the longest time, it was just like her family and I would host, so I'd cook everything. They'd come over. And then this year I'm not hosting for the first time, which I'm so grateful.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be so relaxing. But we're going up to Greensboro, and we'll probably have like 20 people up there.
Oh, okay.
Mixture of family.
That's with her family?
This is my family.
Oh, your family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Aunt, uncle, cousins, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Very cool.
And then, let's see, Friday we used to go shopping, Black Friday. Yeah. Now it's like...
You doing online or you going in the store?
We used to go in the store. I mean, it used to be so much fun, dude.
Yeah. You should really look forward to it. Yeah. Nowadays, you buy everything online now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon, I can get it cheaper and delivered. Who cares?
That's right.
And so Saturday morning, we always go up to the mountains and get a Christmas tree.
Okay. Yep.
So kind of same.
So we'll do that on Saturday too?
Yeah.
I might see you. No, it's just probably not.
We go out towards like Asheville area. Oh. I don't know exactly where we go. It's like Christmas Tree Corner, I think, or Christmas Corner. That's what it's called. So we'll go cut a tree down, come back, set it up. I don't allow my wife to put up any Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving.
Oh, gotcha.
That's my one rule. You don't skip holidays.
Yeah.
You can't start putting Christmas up after Halloween. It's not how it works. You got to get through Thanksgiving. Yeah. I get it. There's not a lot of decorations, but that's not my problem.
Yeah.
It
was funny. My neighbor had they have this like inflatable turkey in the yard. And then you can see through the window they got the Christmas tree up. I'm like, they're dual celebrating here.
And then, we get the Christmas tree. And then one tradition that I've done probably the last 10 to 12 years, I will wear a Santa hat. From Black Friday until Christmas.
I've seen you in a Santa hat. I want to say last time we went to dinner. Was that last year?
Yeah.
You have a Santa hat on.
Absolutely. That's my tradition I stick to. And my wife, calls me the Grinch because I don't let her put up the Christmas decorations early. And I'm like, I'm one of the only people that wears a Santa hat. Yeah. From Black Friday to Christmas. Don't tell me I'm not festive.
You wear it every day too?
Every day.
Oh,
I have a couple of hats now.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of the standard red ones. I have a Pittsburgh Penguins one. I have a Buffalo Trace one that's kind of like my go-to now. Yeah, it's like a green, has some barrels on it. Love that one. So yeah, you'll definitely see me with the Santa hat. And then Christmas, we typically do like Christmas Eve with her family. Christmas Day is really just relaxing. I'll do like I'll do a prime rib.
Oh, good.
And that's really it. And then kind of like you with New Year's, we just whatever happens type deal. You know, it's never one set thing. Like last year, she was pregnant, and we ended up going over to Tanner's house. And, you know, his wife was pregnant at the time too. So, like, they kind of hung out together. And then me and Tanner popped a bottle of Dom.
There you go. Rest is history.
But, yeah, man, it's I think traditions are good.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to get more into them, man. I mean, we constantly go see family and all, but, like, set traditions, we don't too much.
And especially now, you know, having a daughter, it's... I want to make sure she has something to look forward to, you know?
100%, dude. Like, and that was one thing I appreciated growing up, right? And I think traditions kind of, they're unique. And
did y'all ever have like family reunions?
No, dude. I didn't come from a big enough, well, I take that back. I mean, when we went to Pennsylvania, I guess, quote unquote, family reunion.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're seeing a lot of extended family. But no, I remember going one time with a buddy of mine.
Really?
It was a while. Like, we went to New York somewhere. Like, I want to say it was Cooperstown. And man, it was wild, dude. There was like 100 plus people at this bad boy. And I was like, this is, you know, we just never had a big enough family, but I appreciate it. I can imagine it'd be kind of cool to.
When I was real little, we used to go to Georgia to like my great grandmother's house. And there was, like 50 people.
Holy smokes.
I couldn't tell you half the people.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you 95% of the people that were there. You know, it was, but I remember doing that. And then now you don't really hear about it.
No, you don't. Not as much anymore.
Which I mean, you know, you got Facebook now that you can kind of keep up with everybody. And in most cases, you don't like half your family anyways, you know, or you got a couple characters. You're like, oh yeah, stay away from that uncle. He's bad news.
Bad news bear.
So yeah. But I think traditions are important, but you know, sometimes like going with the flow is good too.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, man.
So
couldn't agree more.
Speaking of tradition, we need to get together and dinner next month.
Yeah, right. Sometime. Yeah, that would be tradition. Yeah, we're going on a few years of that now. Mm-hmm. So I'm letting you pick a restaurant since you got good taste.
Oh, jeez.
You probably tried most of them in Charlotte,
huh? Yeah. I would gather and say I've tried. I don't know, man. We have new restaurants popping up all the time.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
What, new restaurant?
Yeah, or I mean, just like in Charlotte, if you had to go eat somewhere tomorrow.
Steak 48.
Okay. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Steak 48 was delicious. But...
So, did you see that post I shared the other day?
I think I missed that one.
So, Open Table announced top 100 restaurants in the U.S. Steak 48 in South Park was the only restaurant in North Carolina that made that list.
Holy smokes. And that's it's a chain? Yeah,
it's a chain.
Gotcha. It's a chain, I thought.
But it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, dude. Probably one of the better steaks I've had in Charlotte. Well, yeah.
I think it's the best steak I've had in Charlotte.
Maybe the best steak
and I've ate at almost every steakhouse in Charlotte. Yeah. And I can say it's better it's light years better than Beef and Bottle. All you Charlotte natives are crazy. Beef and Bottle sucks.
Yeah. Oh, that bad?
Dude, you had a Beef and Bottle?
I've had Beef and Bottle. My wife does not like that place.
Good.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It was all right.
The sides were good.
Yeah, sides were gummy.
The atmosphere, the ambiance was fantastic. The steak was terrible. I got a ribeye, and it was tough.
Oh, goodness.
Like, how's a ribeye tough?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, though. I wish we had, like, a Hall's Chop House. Like, it's in Charleston.
Been. Okay.
Fantastic steak.
Good stuff. Better steak 48? Level playing field?
So, Hall's steak is probably tit for tat. But what sets Hall's apart is, for example, one of the owners, he was one of Hall's son. I think his name's Joe. Like, he came to the table, you know, shook your hand, had a good, warming, like 4 or 5 minute conversation. You know, like almost like you're catching up with.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so, and they were busy too when we went, but it was just great.
Yeah,
you know. So Hall's is great. If I was to go somewhere in Charlotte, Steak 48. Oh, Restaurant Constance.
Oh,
fantastic.
I remember you telling me about that place. I've never been.
Fantastic place. They opened, I want to say in February or March. We went like 2 or 3 times the first month. It was so good.
Where's that at? Westshore? Like over there in that
It's over by Not Just Coffee on J Street
okay.
and
So,
Lucky Dog Bar.
okay.
Fantastic.
I have to try that one. Smaller restaurant?
It is a smaller restaurant. I don't know how their reservations have been. We haven't been in a while since we had our daughter, but yeah, they're really good. Sam, the chef. So way back when
What's Sam's last name? Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, gotcha.
But so how I found out about him was, I think they're Christian McCaffrey, actually. So he like shared a post years ago about like he was his personal chef
gotcha.
while he was with the Panthers. And so he was also doing like this takeout meal service, or like they would deliver like 3 courses for, it was like $35-$40 a person. And we ordered that a couple times. It was fantastic. Great food. And then he opened up the restaurant. We were like, oh yeah, we're definitely. So we've been following Sam for a little bit.
Very cool.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
I want to say Lisa Monty, my good friend Lisa Monty. I knows him very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she I remember like post-COVID or like kind of during the COVID, we was doing all the takeout meals, right?
Yes.
Same guy. Yeah, it has to be the same guy.
Yeah.
She has nothing but great things to say about him. I need to
Fantastic.
to give it a shot. Yeah. And I think he'll even come to your house and do like a personal chef experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a party or so.
Yeah. I don't have that many people I like to invite over to pay that much for, but
an expensive little bill too.
Yeah,
but probably well worth it.
I don't know, man. Like I said, we have so many restaurants opening in Charlotte. It's kind of hard to keep up in a sense.
Oh, 100%.
But I definitely got my go-tos. I got my go-to burger spot. I got my go-to Mexican spot.
What's your go-to burger spot?
Bang Bang Burgers.
That place is good.
Best burger in Charlotte.
Yeah,
hands down.
I don't think I disagree with you. The Ace is pretty good though too. Have you had Ace?
Yeah, I've had Ace. I've had Harriet's. Harriet's is a good burger.
Oh yeah, Harriet's the one over there. I never talking about
La Bella Hélène in Uptown.
Never had
it's a French joint. They serve a great burger.
Gotcha.
But if I'm thinking just classic burger, Bang Bang.
Bang Bang. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, I think kind of shifting gears here. I had a conversation with a newer agent, and we were chatting through because he was struggling to deal with some of his friends and chatting with them about the market, trying to buy, so on and so forth. And they're very much into the influencer following. Mm-hmm. So your Grant Cardones, your Gary V's, and other whales that have a huge social media presence. And so he was saying, those guys are saying, oh, it's a bad time to buy residential real estate, or, oh, well, I rent my house and, I only buy like multiplexes or apartment units, and like that's what you should be doing to invest or whatever in real estate. And so they're kind of timid to buy a house, right? Or buy something in real estate to invest in, unless it's a apartment complex, quadplex, duplex, whatever the case is. What is your take on these influencers? And also too, like, how would you combat someone that's, following some social media whale that's telling you not to do what you're advocating people to do?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I think these individuals, they're in just a different spot in life than a lot of us are, right? I mean, they're loaded, right? Simply. So it's like you talked about, like buying apartment complexes and, investing in certain avenues. Yeah, that's great when you have the capital to do that or the networks to do that, mm-hmm. right? I mean, there are ways you can get out there and do like syndication deals and like be part of investment strategies and stuff like that. But, frankly, all of us got to start somewhere, right? And we all, we might not have fat bank accounts. So, I think residential real estate, single family, townhomes, condos, duplexes, if you can find them, is a great starting place. I mean, just ask anybody who bought 3 or 4 years ago, right? And that's a short amount of time.
Or 10 years ago.
Or, goodness gracious, 10 years ago, yeah. But even just 2 or 3 years ago, man, I mean, the wealth that's been created through real estate. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, the world is only growing in population, right? And I think they're saying that the millennial generation, I think the average age of a first-time home buyer might be off like a year or two. Is about 34, 35 years old. Yeah, as wild as that is, right? So if you think about it, and we can relate being millennials,
Yeah.
And we're a little bit younger than that, but where I'm getting at is the population growth was huge in the millennial category. Like if you look at a map, so the millennial category is huge, right? And if it's going to be 34, 35 when they're going to start buying homes, that's only in the next few years. So you're about to have a population increase, that millennial demographic coming in and starting to buy houses. Well,
interesting,
dude, if we don't have the inventory, which is already an issue in a lot of big metropolitan areas, including Charlotte, if we don't have the inventory, dude, what's going to happen? You're going to have more demand coming in. You're not going to have the inventory. Simple supply of economics, supply versus demand. House prices are going to go up, man. So I know it's tough out there, right? It's very competitive. It's slim pickings, but I think if you can get your hands on real estate sooner than later, you're probably going to be in a better position. My personal opinion.
What are you telling clients and customers right now as far as, interest rates are high right now? And honestly, it's difficult to think about because, for the most part, if you're living and working in Charlotte at a typical 9 to 5, you're probably making, what do you think the average income in Charlotte is? Probably
that's tough, dude. If I just had to estimate, I'd say 70, 80 grand.
Yeah. And so, what average price is like high fours, like 470, 480s. And so, for the standard person, if they're single to qualify for a house, they have no debt, they're making about 80 grand a year. Like, what's their purchase price roughly?
Man, I'd say somebody with no debt at all, like, is probably, honestly, 80,000 is probably falling at about your average price point.
Yeah. So,
like, at max.
Yeah.
And maybe not even that high. So, that's a sad reality, man. I mean, it is quite unfortunate that, home ownership has become that harder to achieve. There's no doubt about that. Kind of what I'm telling clients, man, is I'm a firm believer, dude, that not everybody's in a position to buy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's okay. Don't feel like you're going to miss the boat. Like, that's not what the purpose of saying, hey, like, now's a great time to buy. I mean, if it's not the right time for you, there's going to be other opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. Markets always create opportunities. So some people, I legit tell them, like, if we're spending every penny in your bank account to get into this house, it's probably not a good time to buy. Right? If we got your debt to income ratio at 49.99%, it might not be a good time to buy. So, I approach everybody a little differently, but those individuals who have the means, right, and they have the comfortability, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but, I just try to tell people to focus on the payment, man. I mean, the rate is what it's going to be.
Sound like a salesman, focus on the payment.
I know literally you hear it all over Instagram, and like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but, focus on the payment. If you're comfortable with the payment, this is the beauty of a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Mm-hmm. If you lock in now, this is the worst the interest rate's going to be, right? Because if rates go up, well, guess what? You're locked into that rate. Rates go down, you can refinance. So, that's kind of how I'm coaching people.
I think you too, though, you also have a good perspective because you've bought in the high rates. Like, you guys just bought how many months ago?
We just bought, we bought back in July. So,
and what's your rate?
6.5.
Right. We're sitting mid to low sevens right now?
Mid to low sevens at the moment, yeah.
Which is great. We're not in the eights anymore.
Yep.
Well, some people probably still are.
Yeah, relatively speaking. But hey, people in the eights hang out. It's going to get better, I promise.
But still, you bought in this market. I was searching, for a house before kind of things with Orchard kind of fell apart, and then had to get back in that 1099 swing since lenders are strict as hell right now.
Yeah, credit's definitely tightened up.
But yeah, like, we were looking for a house. And, I tell people, if you are secure with your career, what you're doing, and you either want or need to make the move, then do it. Mm-hmm. Because here's what's going to happen, and this, and most people that are listening know this as well. Going back to economics, right? Supply and demand. We already have a month and a half supply of inventory, which is still a seller's market, even with the interest rates. There's no inventory. So what's going to happen as rates drop another 1-2%? Everyone's going to start flocking again to go buy.
Yeah, 100%.
And then what's going to happen is prices are going to skyrocket like we saw, 2 years ago. And you're going to see people spending $50,000, $100,000 over appraised value. You know, people were walking into houses with negative equity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a good rate. That's fantastic. But you had to come out of pocket extra $100,000 just to secure this house, which I'm sure most of them have recouped that wealth in their property since they bought or close to it. But, you know, it's one of those things. All right. Are you going to have the funds and the capital to spend 50 to 100 grand more in a year or two when you're back into multiple offer bidding wars? Absolutely not.
No, you got to be very careful in those situations.
Exactly what you said, to the point of, if you're able and secured to be able to purchase a home, then do it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm a fan of now too, right? Because you're 100% right, man. As soon as the rates go down, you're going to have multiple offers. You know, you're going to have people having to pay over asking. I think right now, as we're speaking, right before Thanksgiving of 2023, there's an opportunity out there where there maybe is not as many buyers, you know, because unfortunately some are priced out. And there's opportunity to be able to negotiate with sellers in certain circumstances. So that's why I like the opportunity that lays there now, because, you know, rates are most likely going to come down. I don't want to put like a definite on that, but where we see things going, right? And, you know, I'm no economist, right? I study economists all day long for my living. You know, I'm thinking it's probably going to be into Q2, Q3 next year, where we start to see the Fed cut rates, which will bring mortgage interest rates down as well. And if rates go down into the 6s or even the 5s, I mean, dude, it's going to introduce like millions and millions of more home buyers into the market nationally. And we just don't have the inventory. And another thing that's funny right now is like, we're seeing so many headlines in the news, right? It's funny, right? You got to remember, headlines sell, right? So, you know, it's talking about how inventory is coming to market, prices are dropping. Well, guess what? It's the time of year. If you look back at historic trends, this is always the time of year where you start to see more inventory come to market. There's less buyers right now, right? Because if you think about buyers with families, right, kids in school, they're going to move in the new year prior to the new school year starting, right? Because they want to get their kids in school at the new location, right? They're not moving as much right now during the holidays when a lot of things are going on. So don't believe all the headlines, right? This is literally a year over year time of year when inventory comes to market.
And the crazy thing too is, you know, those headlines, right? Or you see on the national news, real estate market's bad, you know, houses are sitting months and months. They're looking at some middle of BFE town or towns that already weren't really moving before. But if you look at the big metropolitan areas, homes are still moving. Now, yes, the floor is increased, and sometimes you do have to travel outside the city a little bit to get in some lower price points. But for the most part, inventory still moves, you know? What I always tell people is real estate will always be real estate. People will always buy and people will always sell. Because here's the thing, you know, a death happens, you have to downsize, kids go to school, you got to downsize, you have 5 kids and you're in a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, you got to upgrade, you know, or you get a job relocation, you have to move. So people are still buying and selling. It's just not what we saw 2-3 years ago where people were like, oh man, my house has jumped up 150,000. I can go buy a, you know, whatever house. And oh yeah, we're going to buy it. I don't care if I have to pay over. I'm just transferring equity into this from this. And it was a dangerous time, man. And you know, the crazier thing too, and I don't remember if I touched on this last time, but the National Realtor Association, you know, they're projecting 40% of agents are going to drop out by the end of next year, which is fantastic. But as far as the market standpoint, I mean, it's unsettling. And what's more unsettling is there are people out there that are not educated and telling people what to do, and when they're not even educated in the subject or the local matter. So that's why it's so important, guys, to, you know, reach out to your go-to mortgage lender, your go-to realtor. I mean, I'd gather and say financial advisor too, like I think they can give you a good indication of where you're at and what you can do. And not teeter on that 49.99% DTI.
Yeah. Are you just kind of reflecting back, or you're talking about like, when it's a good time to buy for you? I think right now too, just with the uncertainty of the economy, right? And everything that's going on. I mean, make sure you have some reserves left over. I mean, not only is owning a house expensive, I mean, buying furniture, just I think countless examples where things are expensive. So
the good news is everyone's offering credit cards now because the economy.
Yeah, with consumer debt at an all-time high, man, that's another recipe for disasters, and student loans coming back into repayment.
Yeah, I start paying mine.
It's an interesting time, man, and I just, obviously, I hope, they control this. Like, I hope it's not a bad situation for people, and but the good thing is like it's tough in my industry, dude, because it's like a bad economy is good for mortgage rates, right? But you don't want, like, I'd hate to see individuals suffer because of that, right? And to your point earlier, man, I do want to see rates come down. So I'm a first to admit that. But I hope I hope it's a gradual decrease, man, because I don't think the market can take the demand.
No.
And that's only going to have the craziness that we've seen the last few years. So I hope it's kind of an ease down into that situation.
And I think if you look at, history with the Fed and rates, typically they do a gradual stair step down with rates. And I think we're already starting to see that a little bit. I think I saw it peak at, 8.1. And when I looked yesterday or the day before, it was like 7.4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think we are stair stepping down. It just comes down to, how long is it going to take? We have an election next year. That typically plays into effect, or who's in cabinet right now. Are they going to try and like do something drastic to try and get reelected, or, what's the game going to be?
Yeah. I think for, people wondering like, when rates are going to drop, I think for rates to have a good decrease, we're going to have to see the Fed cut the federal funds rate. Yeah. So until they start cutting rates, I mean, we're going to be somewhere in this ballpark. Yeah. Right. I mean, just like anything, it's going to go up and down. But until the Fed starts cutting the federal fund rate, we won't see a meaningful change in rates.
No.
Which I don't see how we could be too far away. So I'm kind of interested to see their outlook.
If there's a perfect interest rate, what do you think it would be?
Man, I always ask that question, man. It's like, what is the rate? Because the other side of this issue, and I think you alluded to it earlier, is sellers, people who own their houses and have 2% and 3% interest rates. Like, let's say even their kid went to college, right? And they're like, I could downsize. Why? Why would you downsize when you're going to have a lower mortgage payment on your bigger house? You're probably going to wait. So it's created the situation where people are just staying in their house because they want to keep that rate, keep that lower payment. So I always ask, people in the industry, it's like, what do we think that perfect interest rate is where you start to get you turn those sellers, you get those sellers off the fence and start, bringing more inventory to market by selling their houses. I don't know, man. I think it's going to have to be a rate with a 5 in front of it. I think if you can get maybe low 5s.
My number, I think, is like a 4.8 to a 5.1, right in that range. I think if people see a 4, they're like, that's not that bad. Yeah. When they start seeing the 5s and the 6s and the 7s, especially for people that pay attention to the amortization chart, they're looking at how much interest they're paying on a house. Then it also gets, you're looking at the investment side into the property you're living in, and you're like, that's a little tough.
Yeah.
You're paying almost 3x what you're purchasing it today. And in most cases, over the course of 30 years, in a standardized market, I don't think your house 4x's, or 3x's.
No.
So it is tough. And, going back to the whole rental thing, and people's like, I rent because it's easier. I don't have to worry about fixing anything, and I don't have to worry about it. That's, I think, the most common thing I hear is they just don't want the responsibility of home ownership, which is fine. I get it. And in most cases, depending on how long you're going to live somewhere, Yeah, it might not make sense to buy.
That's another point. Yeah, if you're only going to be somewhere for a year or two, maybe it's not going to make sense.
But then if you look at someone who's a glass half full kind of guy, maybe you're looking at it like, yeah, I'll live here for 2 years and I'll turn around and flip it and rent it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially rent. I mean, what average 1-bedroom rent right now is like $1,700, $1,800 in Charlotte?
I believe it.
Like what?
Yeah.
And you're paying 100% of interest.
You're not building any wealth from that, right? So, no equity realized or anything.
Yeah, it's so tough because you hear this conversation and it's like, all right, you rent for 10 years at average of $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. You paid $240,000 in rent over 10 years. Now you 3x that. What is that? $720. You've paid $720,000. If my math's wrong, I apologize. But $720,000 over the course of 30 years.
That's insane.
In rent that you will never get back.
That's insane. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh yeah, even if you had to like 3x your house, at least you're getting something back. Because really what you're paying for is a home to come home to.
Yeah.
Or a house to come home to. And which is nice. And then again, some people turn into rentals or Airbnbs and they're making money off of it. So yeah, real estate's interesting.
We're at an interesting time, man. But I think, tricky times create opportunity. That's kind of my belief.
Oh, absolutely.
So I do think there's a lot of opportunity now. But just to reiterate, homeownership's not for everybody right now. And that's okay. Don't feel like you're missing a boat, man. There's always going to be, markets are always going to create opportunity. So I am optimistic about that. And I'm excited for what's on the other side of this, dude. I mean, it's a tough time in the real estate market, the mortgage industry. But, dude, I think for those that can stick around through this, and weather the storm, there's going to be a lot of opportunity.
I think, it's not like 2007, 2008.
Oh, no, not at all.
But I think it's almost that same ordeal because there were so many people in the mortgage industry and real estate industry back then. And then so many got out because no one was buying.
Yeah.
And I think those who weathered that definitely made out, and now if they're still in it, they're bankroll.
Yeah.
So last couple things before we wrap this up for episode 2. Going back to the sports. With FC Charlotte, I think they did a pretty good run.
Yeah, they made playoffs. Well, the wild card into the playoff game, and then that was not a good showing.
Yeah. So, who do you think is going to be the first Charlotte-based team to get a championship on the professional level? I know the Checkers have won, their cup.
I'll give my quick opinion, man. Panthers, I think we got 3 or 4 years. I mean, maybe even longer than that. That is on the concern. That's on the ambitious side, dude. We got a lot of rebuilding to do, man. I mean, after watching them this year, so I don't think it's the Panthers. I'll be frank, I don't know a ton about basketball. Went to like my 3rd ever Hornets game last night. They beat the Celtics, which is quite impressive. But just from what I know and what I hear, I don't think the Hornets, but we're talking championship level.
Yeah.
Man, and I don't say this because I'm a soccer fan, but I think Charlotte FC has come the longest way in just 2 years. Mm-hmm. I think they're a few pieces away from being able to make a playoff run, and I don't know, man. I don't know if they're championship caliber, but I think they have a chance to, win a few playoff games. But I think we might have a decade before we have a championship here in Charlotte.
It's so hard to be a Charlotte fan, I don't think Hornets have ever had like a really good run at the NBA Finals. I think Panthers' best year was 2016. With 15-1. Yeah. 15-1, and then Cam Newton fucking threw in the Super Bowl.
Von Miller ate his Wheaties, dude.
Von Miller destroyed.
Ate his Wheaties, dude.
I'll be honest, I think it was rigged though. That year because Peyton's last year and going out on top, and I tell people this all the time. Looking back then, before Peyton really took over Denver and Tebow was the quarterback, I still stand behind it. I feel like Tebow was a championship caliber quarterback for the NFL, and no one really invested the time into putting in Tebow. Whereas when he was at Florida, he did fantastic. Yeah. And then he kind of bounced around a little bit. And then when he was in Denver, he carried them to the playoffs, and then it was like, oh, well, now we have Peyton Manning, so we're just going to put Peyton in, and he's going to get, the win.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened. But I feel like that was our best chance.
Yeah,
at Panthers,
I agree.
because our defense was second in the league, to Denver, even though I'd argue that I think we were the best defense. I mean, we had an unstoppable wall. That
was the Kuechly days. What's my boy from oh, man, he went and played at the Saints right before. Shame on me for forgetting his name. The dude that played beside Kuechly. The animal.
Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's first name?
Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas Davis.
Thomas Davis, yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah. How do you forget Thomas Davis?
Was K1 short on that team too?
I can't remember.
And Julius Peppers was out by that time.
Yeah, Peppers was out.
You had Olsen on offense.
Oh, yeah, we had Olsen, tight end.
Was Steve Smith still playing at 15? No. Or he might have been on the Ravens at that point.
The other Smith was playing, though. Who's the other Smith we had? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But, yeah, I think that was our best run. And then, I think for a 2-year team, Charlotte FC, did fantastic. But now they have a lot of rebuilding
there's a lot of rebuilding to do, man. I was impressed, though, in 2 years. You would think we'd be a bottom of the barrel team.
The sad thing is I've not been to one game yet.
No, you got to go, dude. It's a cool atmosphere. It's just a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
In a fun way. So
the year with the Panthers, we did the run, and we had both home games, Seattle and Arizona. We went to both of those games, and those were, I would say, those were the best sporting event games I've ever been in my life.
Oh yeah.
We almost went to the Super Bowl, but I was like, I ain't spending $9,000 on tickets. So we were in the end zone where Kuechly caught the interception and ran in for a touchdown, and the place was electric.
Rocking. I can imagine. Yeah. I would have paid to go to a game like that, man, because I haven't, since I've been in Charlotte, we haven't really had much to cheer about.
No, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest Cam Newton fan. I thought he was very overrated.
Yeah. There was a couple of years that, man, he was the real deal. It was.
Yeah.
Well, relatively speaking, looking back.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better quarterbacks we've had.
Yes.
Maybe the best. Nothing is Jake Delhomme. I mean, that was a little bit before my time, but I remember we went to the Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme back when they played the Patriots. That was early 2001.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Lost that too.
Yeah, I lost that too, man. We're coming up short. We need a W. But what do you say we wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah.
We always like to end it with some fun questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, being it's Thanksgiving, I'll hit you with this one first. Being it's Thanksgiving, what is your 3 top foods that you enjoy?
For Thanksgiving?
For Thanksgiving, yeah. Sorry.
Mac and cheese.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it's got to be done right. And by done right, I don't mean your Southern egg mac and cheese that isn't creamy and all of that. It better not be Velveeta. It better not be boxed. It better be made from scratch, from a roux, with a cheese sauce, macaroni and cheese.
That sounds good.
Side number 2, green bean casserole.
Oh, my goodness.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Super controversial.
You know what? It was on my top 3.
Really?
I love green bean casserole, dude.
Dude, we had the potluck here last week, and everyone was like, oh, what sides are we doing? And I was like, well, someone needs to bring green bean casserole. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like,
dude, green bean casserole's fire.
Green bean casserole is so underrated.
I like it.
Are we doing just sides?
No, you can hit the...
Man, this one's a tough one. I'd say a deep fried turkey.
Yeah.
Because you can't beat that.
Yeah. And you don't really eat turkey. Well, I personally don't eat often.
The rest of the year, yeah.
Besides lunch meat turkey, but...
Yeah, so last year I did a half-smoked turkey. Ooh. So I smoked it to about 130 degrees so it got the smokiness. And then I finished it in the deep fryer. Ooh. That was the best turkey I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
It was fantastic. But deviled eggs is another one.
Ooh. That's, I forgot.
Deviled eggs I can crush. So I think I'll just stick with sides because, turkey's fantastic, but mac and cheese, green bean casserole, deviled eggs.
Yeah.
This is my go-to.
Solid one.
Oh, man.
Solid one.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah, there is. Honestly, I'd take your green bean casserole, your mac and cheese, exactly the way you said. And I was just going to say turkey in general because I just don't eat turkey much, mostly just for Thanksgiving. So how it's prepared, I don't know. I just show up and eat it.
Really?
I've never actually cooked turkey myself.
Just make sure it's thawed if you deep fry
Well,
it.
I've seen those videos. Yeah, don't put a frozen turkey in the deep fryer, fellas and ladies.
So, yeah, we're on the same wavelength here. I like that.
No, I literally.
But there's so many goods, right? Like stuffing, fantastic.
Yeah, you think some of the desserts?
I'm not a huge sweet guy.
No. See, I love some apple pie with some.
Let me ask you this: I've been talking to a lot of people lately. I think pumpkin and sweet potato pie taste virtually the same.
Ooh. Man, I can't tell you last time I had a sweet potato pie, so I can't.
I think
I'll take your word for it, though.
I think it tastes the same.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, it's different. It's different consistency." Like, yeah, it is, but in the same sense, it's like it tastes the same.
Very similar.
All right, let me hit you with one because I thought about this one and I really want to hear your take. So, what are your top 3 movies of all time?
Dude, I don't know. Without thinking this one off too much, I'm just shooting from the hip here.
Yeah.
So, one that I've always liked, I always love war movies. So, Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, man, just a classic, great war movie. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but coming from a racing family, and the movie that is based off of what I was named from is Days of Thunder. You ever seen Days of Thunder?
Old young
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
So Cole Trickle was Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
and
that's what you're named after.
That's how redneck family is. They literally like the name, so that's how I got the name Cole. Fun fact there.
Really?
Man, I'm trying to think of another one without thinking too long and taking too long here. I don't know. For some reason, the OG Top Gun comes to mind too.
Oh,
man,
I thought the second one was better than the first one.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean,
I think for me, and again, it was a movie. What was it? 80s, 90s. Yeah. It's tough for me to watch older movies.
I couldn't believe that was in the 80s, by the way. That hit me the other day when I looked it up. It's like 86 or something like that.
So, I just didn't think the storyline was that good in the first one. Gotcha. And like the end fighting scene, it was like, eh.
Yeah.
But in the new one
was fire for that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's fire.
But I can appreciate the classic.
Yeah, it was a classic. And I'm sure if I thought longer and harder, I could think of some other good ones. But man, how about you, dude? End us with 3 absolute bangers of a movie.
Dude, it's so hard. Anything that Nolan puts out or Quentin Tarantino puts out.
Tarantino's got some wild ones.
Dude, I'm like huge fan of both. Both of the directors are fantastic. Like, that is my style of movie. So, all-time favorite, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, good movie.
By Tarantino.
Good movie.
Sky has never watched it. We watched it. I watched it with her for the first time. Her first time, like 2 nights ago. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. Golly. I'm torn between Interstellar and Inception.
Oh. Inception. That was a tough one to follow for me.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in that movie.
It is, but it's so good because there's so many layers and it leaves you asking. But I think Interstellar's a really good one.
Is that Will Smith? No.
Interstellar's with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it.
Bro.
I'm going to watch it.
It's a long one, but it's a good one.
Okay. Newer movie?
It's like 10, 12 years old. Pretty much premises, it's like towards the end of Earth's time, can't really grow any crops. It's so dusty. All you can really grow is corn. So they're trying to like fly to different planets that meet a certain criteria that maybe they can move Earth to. And then he like gets trapped in this, I don't know, they like jump through times and when they're on a certain planet, like it goes by like quickly, like every second's like 4 years or something like that. And so it messes with it. And then it's like a whole, I don't know, it's like different reality and, end up figuring it out. And it's a fantastic movie. I wouldn't say those, I would say one or the other on those 2 movies would be in my top. So I know I said Interstellar, but more and more I think about it, I think Inception would be there.
Okay.
So we got Glorious Bastards, Inception. The third one's hard for me. So I know I'm just throwing movies off, but Django Unchained was a fantastic movie.
That was a good one too. Yeah,
it was so good.
That's a Tarantino one too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Tarantino makes some wild ones.
He does, but they're so good.
What about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? That was another. Was that Tarantino?
I think so, but I've never watched that.
Dude, that one's
I need to
wild,
watch
too.
it. I've heard really good things.
Yeah.
I need to watch that one. I'll probably watch that on the flight to London, actually. Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Which is crazy because I like Leo movies too.
Yeah,
you know? I think Leo's a great actor. He can pull up. Oh, man. What was that one with him and Tom Hanks? I think it was late 90s where he, young kid, and he like impersonates like a pilot and he's like forging checks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's another banger of a movie.
Well, there's so many good ones when you really like start to think into it.
Yeah. Like I love the Dark Knight trilogies with Nolan.
Yep.
New Batman sucks. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
With Robert Patterson or whatever
Old
his
school
name
Joker,
is.
man. R.I.P. What's that? Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger.
You know what? Another good movie, like low key, A Knight's Tale. You seen that?
Mm-mm.
Was that? I'm pretty sure it was Heath Ledger, like young Heath Ledger. It's about like the old knights. What?
I got to remove Wolf of Wall Street.
Let me hit one more.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Good.
Ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Head of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movie.
That's a good one. That is definitely a good one.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Golly.
Good ones.
But, cool, guys. Thanks for listening. On the next one, I think we're going to try and have a guest. So
let's do it.
You'll get someone else's than just Cole and my perspective and background and hear us rambling. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. Please let us know, what you guys want to hear about. It's not just about Cole and myself. We can talk on the phone all day, but we really want to get this stuff out there to you guys and have good conversations with good people, and we're looking forward to episode 3. And guys, I think we're signing off for now. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. If we don't get to you at Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, every holiday.
Every holiday. I like it.
So
happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays, guys. See y'all later.
Boom. That was good. Yeah. 10:13. We was rolling. That was a long one.
I know. I even cut one of the questions.
I got to pee so bad. I was like, bro, I was about to have to do a walkout. That's funny.